This is Lorena, and I wanted to do a tutorial on long arm quilting, some of my favorite tools, some tricks that I learned out there, and I hope that you like this tutorial. So here we go. We're going to start. Stitch in the ditch ruler. The stitch in the ditch ruler, you could buy this at Joann's or Hancock Fabrics. Honestly, this little sucker is awesome. I think at Joann's or Hancock Fabrics, I think I got it at Joann's. I have a 50% off coupon, and it really does work. I have a Gamma Statler Stitcher Optimum that, it has all the bells and whistles and whatever. The thing is once you have a computerized machine that does all the work, you're less likely to try to do it. And so I've challenged myself throughout the years to make myself use the machine without using the computer system so that I can learn the skill of long arm quilting. And so I wanted to learn to stitch in the ditch. And this is the ruler. I hope you can see it, what it looks like. I think I spent $10 on it with a coupon. It was $5. It was worth it. And so this is one of my favorite tools for long arm quilting. Another one of my favorite tools is, let me see, the bobbin tension gauge. I know I talked about this for my embroidery. This is for the bigger gauge. I think it's for the M gauge, for the bigger bobbins. I love this. I want to show you some tricks about tension, especially on your embroidery long arm quilting machine. Especially on long arm quilting, you really want your tension to be nice because that's your clean line that your client sees your quilting on. I learned this wonderful trick. If you get your tension on your tova right, you don't have to mess with the bottom bobbin anymore. You got it right, you got it in line. Let me share this also too. Superior Thread went out of their way to test all their different threads. They have fine line, king tut, all these threads that they have that they sell, and they used all these different machines, and they found out what the gauge is best for each thread for every single machine that is a long arm quilting machine. They are the best company. You can literally download their PDF file and you can get what tension gauge your bobbin should be for the thread you're using. Let's say you're using bottom line. They've literally used all types, Gamma, handy long arm quilting machines, and they've done the tension gauge testing for you. So if you just get your tova in line with their numbers, I promise you they're correct. It works. So this is one of my favorite tools. Another favorite tool of mine, let me share this. Let me get a bobbin. And so here's the bobbin case. You take it out of your bobbin and you put one of these little washers in there. I only use this for my long arm Gamma Statler Stitcher machine. Let me share this. I do not use the bobbins that my machine came with. The bobbins that my machine came with had pierced holes and it was a heavier weight metal, and I wanted to see what these are, kind of like solid, real light bobbins. I love these. I've noticed that when I have my bobbin and I have one of these in there and I literally took the spring out and I put this in there, I end up having some of the best, beautiful, clean line tension. I don't have the pokies, I don't have the eyelashes, I don't have any of that. You can literally see that the tension looks like it's supposed to look like. So I recommend these for your long arm quilting machine, and also to purchase these flat ones. The ones that came with my machine had little circles and holes on them, and hopefully if I find it in my mess, I'll show it to you. But I recommend these. My next favorite thing is these. These are from a company called quiltonthecorner.com. These are for the side of your back fabric so that you can pull it evenly. They snap open. I hope you could see that. They snap open and they snap to your fabric, and then you can get your spring and pull your fabric completely taut so that it's completely even throughout the whole back of the fabric. I really do like these. She also sells red snappers, and she calls them red snappers, that you slide them into the seam of the leader and you can snap your back fabric to your leaders. Now I want to show you what I do when I do my leaders. I do not pin because I have a life. Well, I'm not saying that people who pin don't have a life. I'm not patient. I'm always in a hurry, I think. And I just don't have time for that, okay? And I'm not saying I don't like getting poked or nothing, but me pinning. So, but what I learned in my leaders Le Carbo. These are my leaders. And this is my back fabric that I'm going to do for my son's quilt. A lady, when I got my machine, they said split your fabric in half, and they had a half line in the middle of the machine. Pin your back middle seam, then pin from the middle and pin out. Whatever. It didn't work for me. But let me tell you what did work. A lady told me, Lorena, why don't you number your leaders? And so I numbered my leaders by 5, 10, 15 here, 20, 25, 30, 35, and it goes on all the way down to the end of the leader. Now, this is where my zipper hooks to my leader on the machine. Now this is another the other side of my leader. So what I did is, here's this top leader, and this is the other end of the leader, and so here's 2 of them. I hope you see them. 2 of them. So here's my 5, and then my 5, and here's 10, here's the 15, 15. I numbered them all. And so when I start sewing, I always sew on my 5, and I run the fabric all the way down on my 5, and then on the other opposite end, the bottom end of my leader, I start on 5 again. That means, and if you ran your fabric all the way through and sewed it, and I sew it on the stitch length of 5, but on the very beginning I back and forward stitch so it stabilizes it. But when I'm done, I literally just tear it off the machine when I'm done quilting it. This saves me so much time. I have a friend, and she's awesome. I'm inspired by her. I have nothing to complain about her. She is great. She pins all her back fabrics. Not happening with me. But I sew my back fabrics, which to me, it only takes 10 minutes to sew your back fabric. It goes quick. It also is in line because I numbered my leaders, and both of my leaders are numbered correctly together. So when I start on 5 and just sew all the way down, I start on 5 on the other end and I sew all the way down, and it keeps it consistent. And I can sew anywhere. If I want the fabric in the middle, I start sewing on 20 on both ends. If I want it very close to the edge, because it's a huge piece of fabric, I sew to the very end. Usually I start sewing on 3 on the 3rd inch. And this way my back fabric is consistent, it's flat. I've noticed I don't know if you see it, it's just flat the way it lays. It doesn't ripple on me. And also when I'm putting it on the darn machine, I'm not getting poked at. And I don't like getting poked at. So this is what I do to put my back fabric on my leaders, so when I put it on the Longarm quilting machine. If you have any questions, just comment, and I'll be more willing to show you or help you, or whatever you need me to do, I'll help. But this is what I do. The next thing I wanted to share of my favorite things is this wonderful Longarm Quilting Basic Skills, ABCs of Longarm Quilting. It's been a great book for me. It talks about the ins and outs. I have a Gamble Statler stitcher, so this has a Gamble Statler stitcher, but it has the ins and outs about your tension, if your tension has eyelashes, how to deal with it. If on the top of your tension you have bubbling, that means that your top tension gauge is too loose. It also says if you have a lot of dots on your top tension, it talks about that your tension is too tight. So it has some really great information in here for Longarm quilting. And so this is my my book, my resource that I use for Longarm quilting. My GoPro. I got this GoPro and I hook it to my machine so that I can look and show some of my quilting work. Nothing like positive reinforcement to get you to practice more. I was so afraid of my machine when I first got it that I never went on it almost for a whole year. But when I got a camera and I started my YouTube channel and I started documenting how just practicing for 30 minutes every day, honestly, practicing for 30 minutes every day made me become such a better long arm quilter and stippler and doing pebbles and doing shells and feathers. But what helped me to do it, I have to be one of those people that has a reason to do it. It's a little camera. It looks like this, and this has areas where you can put on your head, put on your chest, you can fly with it. But I hung it on my machine, and it takes some of the most beautiful pictures or videos, and so that's what I put on my machine. So when I do some quilting and piecing or quilting, especially long arm quilting, this is the camera that I use to demonstrate that kind of work. Lately I've been doing a lot more custom work, and because I've wanted to learn how to do a lot more custom work. Ponds and Porters has these really neat rulers so that you can have graphic designs, especially around certain blocks and quilts, and so you can literally they have different sizes. Like the other day I was wanting to do a certain design for a quilt that I'm doing for this lady, and I found these diamonds, and I think they're just wonderful. Ponds and Porters, these are $20. It comes with a case of 5 rollers, different sizes like this. I don't know if you can see it. I got a coupon, 10 bucks, man. Worth a lot. Ponds and Porters, and I'm not denying them any shout out. These little marking pens are great. They're fine line pencils. They work great. I use them all the time. And the thing is at Joann's, you can get a coupon and get them half off. So I got this at a spice rack at H-E-B and Walmart. It has a magnet in the back, and so literally I have them all over the metal frame of my long arm, and they hold my bobbins, they hold my threads sometimes, they hold my needles, and this is just a spice holder. So that's kind of like some of my favorite things that I love about long arm quilting. So I hope you like my tutorial, and I hope you have a really wonderful weekend and a wonderful day.